promo code Maxwell20 and you can get some money off on this thing. This is one of those great devices that you can use. And also Awaken 180. If you want to lose weight in this pandemic, this is where you reach out. Awaken 180.
Yeah, I am in Charlotte. Yep.
Man, you know, I went to school there. Love Charlotte. Where you living in Charlotte?
So I'm in South Charlotte. I'm in Longview, down in the Ballantyne Ray Road area.
Oh yeah, I used to live over near South Park. That was my place, man.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to school at UNC Charlotte.
Oh, I did. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Up north a little bit, a good little ride away.
Look, I'm gonna take you back after things I saw about you. I just loved it, man. There was some stuff about South Carolina that I looked at. You know Atlantic Beach?
Yeah, of course.
Man, I went there and way older than you. I went there in 1963, and I was on the beach, and the beach had a fence that went from the beach into the water as long as the football field to keep the blacks from the whites.
Atlantic Beach is still like that today.
No, it's called. They call it the Black Pearl. Come on, seriously.
Man. Yeah, Atlantic Beach. That Myrtle Beach has its issues. There's a great deal of segregation. I still go a lot down to Garden City, but yeah, it's a lot down there.
You know, of all the things, which I think is the craziest, the fact that my son was the first black lifeguard in Myrtle Beach, and this was he's maybe Madison's about 33 now, and they used to look at him like, Mom, I want to take a picture with the black lifeguard. like he was their Aquaman.
I know, man, but that's not even that's my generation right there. That shows you.
Look, I understand. Well, I'm gonna get to this and let you get on. I know you've been so busy, but so glad to have you. Bakari Sellers here with me, Cedric Maxwell on my podcast. Dude, I'm gonna start out very easy and give you the easiest snowball question of them all. Read about your profile. The rock of your family can't be you, but it has to be your wife. Tell us a little about her, Ellen, and your kids. I just love the profile and looking at you with her. You look so happy.
Yeah, so she is, and we have a 15-year-old who is in 10th grade. She just started 10th grade this year. Had to think about that. Haven't missed a day of first day of school since she's been in kindergarten. So we had that. They're actually going to school in person, so a little uneasy about that, but we'll pray about that. And then I have 19-month-old twins.
That was incredible to see that you had twin daughters.
No, one daughter, one son. One daughter, one son.
Oh, okay, one daughter. But just to have kids like that at your age, and now with the pandemic and race and all this, how are you teaching your kids? And it's going to be a difference between the young ones and the older ones, just a different level.
Well, I hope so. I mean, the prayer is that, what my 15-year-old is living through right now, the twins won't necessarily have to live through. Hopefully in that, 13 and a half year gap, we'll be able to create some long-standing cultural, political, and social changes that my twins may have an easier time than my 15-year-old does, because she's dealing with issues of race even as a teenager right now and interacting. I mean, they watch. You got to understand that if you are a young person, a teen in particular, then you've grown up knowing that your president is Donald Trump, knowing the overlay of race in this country, living through Charlottesville, completely being able to understand George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And so I hope that my younger children will be able to escape some of those traumas.
Reading your book, Vanishing Country, what were you trying to tell the nation about your process of how you live?
So, I mean, it was a few things. I think that, being a child of the movement, growing up with my father in SNCC, growing up around Marion Barry and Julian Bond, learning the lessons of Ella Baker and Fannie Lou Hamer, et cetera. It's just everything that I see politically, socially, culturally, I look at through the lens of the movement. I'm a child of the movement. And, the best example is, while a lot of people know John Lewis from 1986 forward, since his time in Congress, I remember John Lewis, learning of John Lewis in 61, 2, and 3 when he was, chair of SNCC. And That's just my perspective. In the book, what I attempted to do was give Black folk who read this a sense of pride, understanding that even with the traumas that we all have, we can make it through, and white folk who read this a sense of understanding. And it's amazing. You never want a book to come out during the middle of a pandemic, but it came out right on time when people were searching for these resources.
One of the things I heard you say, and I thought it was brilliant, but I want you to explain it to my listeners. You talked about it's good that, I guess, the whole society, they want to change things about no more, we're not gonna have Aunt Jemima, it's not gonna be, and we're not gonna have Uncle Ben's rice anymore. And you said that's that's a little, a Band-Aid on it, but you went on to explain that, you have to do more, just not something superficial. And I thought that was really good.
Yeah, so, while people want to change Aunt Jemima or change the picture of Uncle Ben, for me, I've always thought I never wanted to make the man who sells yellow paint rich, meaning that all these, Black Lives Matters in the middle of the street, but what does that really do? You have companies that are giving away $1 million or $2 million, and that's good. I mean, we're gonna take the money. Don't get me wrong, but what does your C-suite look like? What do your executives look like? How are you elevating people of color and women in your business? Are you paying them what they're worth? Do you have just a vice president of diversity, or do you have somebody there that you actually listen to? And so you have all of these. You have a lot of performative justice, but I want people to remember that justice is a verb, and we have to begin to change culture, and just symbolic change isn't enough. So my whole thing is, people ask me, is this time different? And I'm like, it feels that way, but the age-old political saying, you have to trust but verify.
I want you to finish this line for me.
Sure.
Black Lives Matter. What are you going to do about voting? ...
So, that's a good question. The ... is you vote like your life depends on it. There was once a famous man in this country who said, what do you have to lose? All right. Speaking of Black folk. And I think that we're seeing what we have to lose, whether or not it's the pandemic, which is taking away any semblance of wealth we've had in our communities, or the fact that, Black and brown people are dying at higher rates. Whether or not it's just the fractured systems of oppression that we have in this country, we have a lot to lose. And so my ... is vote like your life depends on it, because it really does.
2020 has been the craziest year, not only for society, but also for sports. And, Kobe Bryant passes away this year.
I thought that was going to be the roughest moment of the year.
Yes. But you look at it and it just seems like it's just, everything has just kind of catapulted. And, with Donald Trump, George Floyd, 8 minutes and 46 seconds will go down like forever. We will think about that like forever, like 9/11. Those will be numbers. In your perspective, how do you really look at this year? It's been so crazy.
Well, I refuse to walk down this path with you, because this year ain't over yet. So I don't know what is on the other side. Don't have me out here saying it ain't gonna get no worse, because then it can. I just saw a note this morning from NASA. This true story. The day before the election, November 2nd, an asteroid is supposed to barely miss the Earth. So like I tell that means early vote. That's what that means to me. So I don't know, man. I remember when Kobe passed away. I was in the airport. I'm in a chat group with four other awesome individuals. And he sent me a link from TMZ, and I just didn't want to believe it. And I was flying to DC to do a special that night on CNN, and we ended up canceling the special because of the news around Kobe Bryant. And just to watch the strength of his wife over this time, losing not just Kobe but Gigi, but watching Vanessa's strength, it's just been something that, I think I would probably fall apart. But just watching her strength has been something that's admirable. And we miss Kobe, especially during this time. I think we're about to roll up on 8/24, which is going to be a national, a citywide holiday in LA. And, you know, probably not arguably, the second best shooting guard to ever play the game, top 10 player to ever play the game.
Well, you know, and there's one of the things where I thought was something else. Little Birdie tells me that, you know, you are a big football fan. You talked about how you wanted to do tailgating I think it was at the Gamecocks for South Carolina.
Yeah.
You got to be missing that.
I mean, I think, and you know, when people ask, you know, do elections matter, right? Yeah, I mean, we're not even having. The SEC apparently is going to try to play this year, but that's what I do on Saturdays. I love watching my Gamecocks play. The last 3 years has been a lot of tragedy on Saturdays with Will Muschamp. But yeah, you know, tailgating, enjoying going in, hearing 90,000 people. We won't even be able to be in the stands this year. You won't even be able to tailgate like that. So it's just it's a tough go. But yeah, I'm a huge sports fan. Basketball, baseball, football, soccer, watch it all.
I'm glad you opened that up then. If that's the case, I always ask some of my guests a great question, and I'd love to put it to you. And you can't be wrong with this. Give me your Mount Rushmore of sports.
Of sports or
of sports. This is Bakari Sellers' Mount Rushmore of sports. In your backyard, you're building that Mount Rushmore, and you got 4 slots.
Well, with four slots, you got to have Muhammad Ali. I think that's a universal slot. I think that, you know, Jackie Robinson or Hank Aaron.
Okay, you got one. It's one or the other. It can't be Jackie Robinson, or you can have both of them. But then you'll have one slot left.
Yeah, no, I'll do Hank Aaron. I love the work that Hank's still doing today. I know Jackie's daughter really well, so she'll probably be mad at me about that. But let's see, and then I would say Serena Williams.
You took one of mine, so that's unbelievable. You're the first person that took one of mine.
And probably Pele.
Wow.
I was thinking about Jim Brown. He didn't play long enough. I was thinking about Jerry Rice, but Jerry Rice did that Church's Chicken commercial with the fried chicken stuffed onto the helmet, so he ain't on nobody's Mount nothing no more. So yeah, Pele, Serena, Hank Aaron, and Muhammad Ali.
And so with that, and again, you can't be wrong. So you left out Michael Jordan and you left out Tiger Woods, right?
So Tiger's right number 5. Tiger. If we had another slot, Tiger would be on it. Michael Jordan's not even the greatest basketball player to ever play the game.
Wow. Okay, give me your best basketball player ever played the game.
So my 2, I actually put Jordan at maybe 2, maybe 3, but LeBron James and Kareem are right there.
Wow, you know that's kind of new age. You're really new age, because so many people right now are going to be throwing shit at my camera, because it was like, well, he said what, LeBron? And this is what I really believe about LeBron, and I think that he, to a point, this is the point I make about him. He's the GOAT to me because of what he's done socially for Black people and people of color. He's taken on a whole line that Michael Jordan didn't take on. Now, it wasn't Michael's fault, but he still didn't take it on. And LeBron has taken on every mantle possible.
Yeah, so Mike is actually doing that now. Like his post-playing career, he's actually stepping up to the plate in and around the Charlotte area, doing stuff that people don't even know about. But one of the reasons, and people talk about championships, I remind folk all the time that it's not an individual sport, and y'all can't even. I mean, you go to the NBA Finals with Eric Snow and Sasha Pavlovich and Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Drew Gooden. and like Boobie Gibson. I mean, if you drag them to the finals, then, and you don't win,
I don't. Are you trying to say you couldn't get them in your backyard game? You now that would be no, you can't play, dude.
I don't know. Zadrunas maybe, he was an all-star, but that was about it. I mean, Mike played with, people forget Tony Kukoc was one of the greatest players in the world at the time. Scottie Pippen, of course, one of the 100 greatest to play the game. So I mean, he wasn't Dennis Rodman, Hall of Famer, so he wasn't playing with slouches. But I do think LeBron is the only athlete to ever have that level of expectation from childhood forward, and not only meet that level of expectation, but exceed it. From the, the Sports Illustrated covers to the chosen one, all of these things. And he's met that expectation. And if he wins a NBA championship in LA, regardless of whether or not it's in the bubble or on the moon, I think that debate's pretty much over.
I'll ask you a question. I know nobody's really asked you in a while. Give me a positive that Donald Trump has done.
I think he's taken some admirable steps around criminal justice. I think that he probably regrets that now and had to be pulled there, but nonetheless, I think he's taken some admirable steps with the First Steps Act. It truly was a first step. It was nowhere near big enough or bold enough, but I think that I look forward to Biden and Harris being able to complete that task. If we got to go 10 yards to score, he took us 2.5, and so we still have a couple of plays to pull out, and I think that Biden and Harris will get us there.
Kamala means what right now to us as people? What statement does it make to to us, to women, to little girls, to your daughter? What does it mean?
So it means so much. I mean, because there's so much you can see in Kamala. Her mom is Indian, her dad was Jamaican. Immigrants. She's the daughter of immigrants. She grew up to a single mom because her dad left at an early age. So if you grew up with a single mom, you can feel that. She's a mother herself now. She's a Black woman. So there's so much history. She went to an HBCU. She's a part of a Divine Nine sorority, as you hear my kids in the background.
Don't worry about it.
It's working from home. And so there's so much of America that we can see in her, and she's bold, she's compassionate. I just, spoke to her and Dougie this morning, wishing them a happy anniversary. And she's tenacious, and she's going to be somebody who is extremely tough, compassionate, and at the end of the day sees us. And, I know that she's going to work extremely hard as vice president to not only do right by people of color, but do right by everyone in this country. What
is Mike Pence thinking right now that he has to do a debate right now against Kamala Harris? What?
He's scared shitless. The problem that he has, that he's going to have is that he's not, Donald Trump and Mike Pence do not interact well with women of power. ... Particularly women of power who are of color.
Why is the word nasty always come along with that?
Because the limited vocabulary. I mean, that's all they got. I mean, whether or not it's April Ryan or Yamiche or Nicole Hannah-Jones, I mean, they don't have a vocabulary. They don't know. And so they are spending more time right now. I can guarantee you. Well, they're preparing for his speech next week, but after his speech, they will spend more time preparing for how they even address Kamala. Do they call her Kamala? Do they call her Ms. Harris? Do they call her Senator Harris? I mean, they are going to spend more time trying to figure out how they address her, the tone, the mannerisms, than actually preparing. It's going to be a fascinating debate, but I know she's going to be very prepared.
You've been around for a while and you talk about the movement. Has this country ever been so splintered? I grew up in the 50s. And I grew up when there was segregation. I just told you about a situation that I was at a beach in South Carolina, and oh my God, I couldn't believe that there was a fence in the water to separate blacks from whites. Has it ever been a time like this that you actually remember?
That I remember? No, but I mean, that I know of, yeah. I mean, I think that, I wasn't around in 1968, but Tom Brokaw writes the book, he calls it Boom 1968, because not only did you have the Orangeburg Massacre where my father and 28 others were shot. 3 were killed at South Carolina State, but that was in February. In April, you had the assassination of King. In June, you had the assassination of Robert Kennedy, and you had soldiers coming home, especially many Black soldiers coming home from Vietnam, still being treated like second-class citizens. And so the country was becoming untethered. And so we've been here before. I mean, I don't think that this is a new phenomenon. I think that the difference between, as my father would tell me, the difference between Donald Trump and Richard Nixon is you could shame Richard Nixon and Donald Trump has no shame.
What I hear from you too is just really the roots of your father, though, of just such a strong Black man that raised you and all the things that you learned from him. And I'm sure you're passing it down to your kids. That must be a great legacy.
Well, yeah, I mean, but being a parent and being a father is is a daily thing, man. I don't know if I'm getting it right. I guess you figure the thing out later. I just try to not mess up, let them know that I love them, and try to lead by example, because I don't know what else I'm doing. So, being a husband and a father are your 2 most important jobs. I truly believe that, and they're also, especially the husband part, also is another full-time job yourself with minimum pay. I'm gonna have to speak to somebody about my labor rights in this man.
I watched you, and you're so big on CNN. Have they ever had you on the other network, Fox, doing anything?
No. So
or are they afraid to have you on? Because I would love to see you with Tucker Carlson. I would love to put you 2 guys in a cage match.
Yeah, no, Tucker's a little fella. So I signed to CNN in 2015, and right before that, I did a lot of MSNBC, a lot of Morning Joe, a lot of it wasn't AM Joy at the time. It was I can't recall my friend's name on Saturday mornings. But then I got signed to CNN. But during that time, I also refused to do Fox. I did like and was friends with Eric Bolling, who's no longer there. But I just, Rush Limbaugh would try to have, not Rush, Bill O'Reilly would try to have me on, and I just refused. Because I don't see the necessity or have the bandwidth to go up and have to reaffirm my identity and start from that point with folk, and try to have somebody yell at me about my existence and about what it means for me to be Black in this country. So I just, instead of waste my time, move on where I can have a more fulfilling conversation that viewers can get more from.
I've seen you get irritated with Donald Trump, things he said, mad, but I've also seen you even get madder when it was a gentleman you were working with. His name was Paris. It was like there were times like you wanted to just grab this guy and just shake the life out of him.
Well, Paris, if Paris called me today and was like, "Let's go get a beer," I'll go get a beer with Paris. Like Paris was frustrating because he was, and I don't mean to sound condescending, but he knew better, right? You know how it's just people who understand the experience, but take positions for something else and some other goal in life, and I'm not sure what that is. And so it was more of a kind of disappointment than an anger with Paris. We're all friends. Like, I was friends with Kayleigh McEnany. I was friends with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. We go on TV and we have it out. Me and Kayleigh used to have knockdown dragouts on Anderson Cooper, where it would be a panel of 8 people, and Anderson would just back up and just let us talk for like 8 minutes through commercial breaks. And then we would just go across the street to, because our studios were at Columbus Circle right in New York. And we would go across the street to this amazing sushi restaurant and have sushi and wine with people like Donna Brazile. One day Morgan Freeman came over. So it was a family thing. And you see them now, and you just pray for them.
The person that you've been most intimidated by, like you meet this person, you're going, just your breath kind of goes back.
That hasn't happened to me since I was 12, and I was in the airport. I was headed to LA with my mom, maybe 11, and I was in Salt Lake City, and I saw Kareem in the airport too, and I walked up to him to get an autograph, and he said no, but That was the only time I was kind of, I don't think there's a man or woman who can, I mean, I've interacted many other times with Barack and Michelle. From any star athlete on down, I've seen, my really good friend, I call him my little brother, Stephon Gilmore, plays for the Pats. So I've been in the locker room with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, and, I've seen Bill Belichick, and Michael Jordan golfs out here in my neighborhood. I just saw Dale Curry the other day. I don't think there's a man that could make me or woman that could make me do that at this age, at this time. But Kareem was probably the last time that happened to me.
I think the time it happened to me that I remember, and I was probably more in shock, was basically, oh my goodness, who is this?
That's Stokely. This is one of them.
Oh, they're going around. I love it. But there was, I just talked about, mine was meeting Bill Clinton. Actually, I was just in a place and walked down in front of some people and said, you know what, Mr. Clinton, how you doing? My name is Cedric Maxwell. Oh, these are adorable.
No, they like TV. I don't know why they. Bill is a great guy, though. I rock with Bill. I was on the phone with his. See, now they want to press all the buttons. See, I was on the phone with his deputy chief of staff yesterday. Okay. Just sit down. Okay. And Bill's a great guy. I can see that. And Bill and Hillary are amazing people. I've seen people like, I don't know how people get to the point where, they go to a Michael Jackson concert and pass out. My wife got like that one time. We were, where were we? And we were kind of, I can't remember where we were. We were walking backstage near Beyonce and Jay-Z. And, I know we were at the DNC and she walked up on Beyonce. And Beyonce said, I'm watching my husband perform. So that's about it. I told her, don't be embarrassing me when I take you out no more.
Man, you know what? I do appreciate it. I'm going to let you get back to your kids on the Saturday. But, before I let you go, the most important thing, again, is for all these young people who are in these lines protesting, they got to get out and vote. I said, if you don't get out and vote, you done punked out. We done come too far.
You gotta get out and vote. And I wish you the best of luck up there. I hope that your Celtics continue to crush the dreams of the 76ers and move on.
But what happens if we meet LeBron, though?
You get beat in 5.
Oh, well,
I don't know. I'm partial because I love Duke, and that Tatum kid is going to be one of the best players the league's seen. And you got a stone cold killer. I don't know how y'all got Kemba Walker, but Kemba Walker is a stone cold killer. You're just missing something. I don't, maybe a healthy Gordon Hayward or something. I don't know what it is, but you'll get there.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Kiss the babies for me. Tell your wife, thank you for your time on Saturday. Thank you again for joining the Cedric Maxwell podcast.
Thank you, man. Have a great day, Mr. MVP. All right now.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.